let's get this party started. So first, couple announcements. An email is going out if it hasn't already gone out. Sarah, I'm actually not sure if the email's gone out or not, but Christy wanted me to make sure I gave you guys the rundown with the Fitme event, specifically in Maryland. Things are changing up a little with the whole COVID situation currently. We made slight adjustments. The major adjustment is that we will not be all housed together that we were planning. You know, we were all going to stay in a couple houses, and it didn't seem like the prudent thing to do to keep everybody safe coming in from different areas. So that is the major change. And the change of venue, it is going to be down at Pax Naval Air Station instead of Kent Island. And down at the air station, actually, Diana and Maureen are on the call. They work near or on the base. Yeah, Maureen, we wanted to make it super convenient, just like another day for you. So it is a really beautiful location, and they kind of have everything that we were looking for. They have an indoor and outdoor space that we can use, a big old kitchen so we can make all kinds of delicious food. And it's going to be super cool. Actually, we're still doing all the same activities, the metabolism audit, the meal map, all of the different breakout sessions, the Zumba, yoga, workout stuff. All of the stuff is going to be the same. It's just going to be like a day, Saturday and Sunday. I think actually Friday evening, right, Sarah? Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday. There's a bunch of hotels located right there. And they are quite affordable, actually. Right in, I guess it would be Lexington Park, I think Lexington Park, Maryland. And there's a bunch of Fitme members. If you have space and are willing, you are more than welcome to host someone. You guys can buddy up if you know people coming in from different areas. So there will be more details coming out on that. With the fact that we are not going to be doing the lodging anymore, we are going to be giving a refund. Instead of the $6.99 initially, it will be $3.99, and those refunds will start going out this week that you can roll over into a place to stay. There's also a lot of Airbnbs down that way. So that is the major change. Did I miss anything, Sarah? No, I don't think so. But we're super pumped to see each other in person. Just like everything else in Fitme, this is real life coming at you, and we are working with it to still make it happen and have this in-person, face-to-face time that we have so desperately been wanting. So we are super, super pumped to hang out with you guys. And Washington, stay tuned. It's going to be kind of a similar situation out there, and we're going to make it work, and it's going to be epically freaking amazing. So I think that's it for announcements. We are going to get into it. We are talking about another aspect of the Fitme plate. We're moving right along. We've talked about veggies. We've talked about fats. This week, we're talking about carbohydrates. And they're one of my faves. So kind of an expert. I eat a lot of them. So, I'm just going to talk about them. But no, carbs are awesome. And there's been a lot of different opinions, information, some misinformation about carbohydrates in the past, really couple decades. So we're not going to get super, super into the science. We're just going to talk about carbs and why you need them, and what kind of a low carb diet can look like. And it may or may not be appropriate. Sometimes it is. There's, always examples of like, it depends. That's like a favorite answer in nutrition, and it always will be. So without further ado, carbohydrates. There's three kinds of carbohydrates. We got sugars, we got starches, we got fiber. They're all different types of carbohydrates. About as sciencey as we're going to get is this next part. So complex carbohydrates, the starches and the fibers fall into complex carbohydrates, sugar being a simple carb. So the way that I kind of remember those is that just kind of like in your relationships with people, you have acquaintances and you have friends, right? Your friends are a more complex relationship. You get deeper, there's further levels, those are what you want, right? Then you have a bunch of like simple acquaintance relationships that are cool, but you could take or leave them and they usually get left at some point. So stick with the complex carbs because there's a lot more going on. There's more like nutrients, and when you eat a complex carb, a starch or fiber, when you eat those, there is more going on in the digestion. Your body gets more from the complex carbs, so it takes its time digesting them, and everything sort of stays smooth and mellow. Your body doesn't have to work very hard. It just in time digests carbohydrates, which did I mention? You guys probably already knew this, but they are the body's major source of energy. So complex carbs, pretty cool. Body's chilling, absorbing, getting what it needs, and doing its thing. With simple carbs, the sugars, your body gets energy from them, but they're absorbed really, really fast. So your body wants to always kind of be in homeostasis or balance, and if it absorbs those sugars super, super fast, it spikes your blood sugar really high, really quick. And your body's got to work really hard to keep everything as chill as possible and get it back to balance. And so then you have that big dip after, like the sugar crash after. So just like, anything else, if we have ups and downs, it's more exhausting. Like I said, your body has to work harder, and it's not ideal. It could be working on some other cool things like changing your body composition and like building muscle instead of trying to balance crazy blood sugars. So that's kind of the science behind complex versus simple carbs. And on our Fitme plate, we always say a tennis ball size portion, right? So I didn't have a tennis ball, and I totally got props for this. PS, I was kind of excited. Didn't have a tennis ball, but I have a dryer ball that is about the size of a tennis ball. This is about the portion size of carbohydrates. Okay. And I also have like this scooper. I don't know why, but it for me, Rebecca, stop laughing. The scoop made sense to me. And it's about 2-ish scoops. If you have a normal ice cream scoop, that's the size of your carbs portion. And I'm a very visual person, so I was very excited by my dryer ball. Don't mind all the lint all over it. It's definitely not new, but these things work. So that's kind of portion size for carbs, right? And when we're talking about things to think about with carbs, when we're talking about a Fitme plate, the thing to remember with carbs is similar to the vegetables, variety and quality, right? The less processed the carb, the more good stuff it has in it, the more complex it's going to be, the more your body's going to get from it. So the two that really stick out to me are, well, I'm a big fan of rice. Now that's a little more processed, that's more starchy, but that's a solid carb. Potatoes are a more starchy carb. But when we're talking about things that are pretty nutrient dense and complex, like sweet potatoes, quinoa, buckwheat, these things, your body will take its time digesting, and thereby combining, just like everything else, the no naked carbs thing that Christy, I think she just posted that this week, actually. the no naked carbs things, if you're given some fat and protein with a really quality carb like quinoa, for instance, your body is going to take its sweet time savoring all of those things and getting all of those nutrients out. You're going to be fuller, longer, and your body is going to feel amazing. Your blood sugar is just going to stay nice and even keel, and you're going to feel good, and feeling good's awesome. You're going to have like plenty of energy to do all the other things that we're trying to do for ourselves, the meal prep, the movement, the, setting ourselves up with water, the 5 minutes for ourselves, all those different things. We're going to have more energy if we're not wasting it digesting crap carbs is the long and short of it. So that's kind of my thoughts on carbs. What are you guys thinking? Do you have any questions, comments, delicious carbs that you want to share?
Hey, Molly, it's Diana. I know this question has been posted a couple times on the Facebook page. Where do beans fall in?
Hi, Diana.
Hi.
I can't wait to see you. P.S.
I know, I'm excited.
It's going to be radtastic. Okay. I feel that, there are many schools of thought, a few schools of thought. I feel that beans are a carb. I think when I kind of look at something, I kind of look at what it's comprised of. Beans are actually a really, really good example because they have carbs, protein, and fat in them. So you pair some beans with, like, if you are a meat eater, you can pair beans with another protein, like lean protein, and a bunch of vegetables. Your body is going to feel freaking fantastic. If you digest beans well, your body's going to feel extremely satiated. You're going to have little to no cravings for anything else. It's going to have that awesome thing that Fitme plates do, which is make me feel good. I'm not going back to the cupboard looking for more after I eat a Fitme plate. I feel good. And beans can help with that. I count them as a carb. Did that answer your question? I gave you a lot of extra words.
You did. Thanks.
Now, if you're plant-based, everything's going to look a little bit different. Okay. Your carbs are still, you're going to want to portion them like tennis ball or dryer ball size. And then you're just filling the rest of your plate with like vegetables, right? So if you're plant-based, I probably wouldn't have like beans and quinoa or beans and rice. I still would choose between those, but then a whole bunch of different vegetables to give you, just a roundabout, like pretty complete, I don't want to say complete protein, but like a complete profile of all the macro and micronutrients, because I know we have a few plant-based members, so I wanted to definitely mention that. But otherwise, yeah, that's the bean.
So I have a question. I usually buy because I'm bad on portion control. So I buy the minute rice, the brown rice, and quinoa. I can't say that word.
You just did.
What is it? Is it quinoa?
Yeah.
I always go quinoa. So, it's just that, thing. But it's portioned together. So is that doing too much, or should I be just doing rice, or should I just be doing the quinoa? Or
so you have the pouch that's like a mix, like a mixed grain.
It's already basically pre-cooked, and basically it's just a microwave. It's just a serving size of brown rice and quinoa.
Yeah.
In a microwavable little bowl, and you microwave it for a minute, and yep, it's that size. Yeah. And so is that doing too much of the carbohydrates?
No, that's a single serving, because if it's around this size, it doesn't really matter what type of carbs we're talking about, whether it's like starchy or, if we're talking about grains or whatever, if this is the portion size. So, yeah, Nikki. Can you mute? Oh, dumps like a truck. That was so perfect. Yeah, so that's it's just a mix. So it doesn't really matter what comprises that. That's just the, that's your portion size. So a quinoa and rice mix, that's awesome. And make sure you look at the label. It sounds like you are, but I know those are tricky sometimes because a lot of times there's like 2 or more, 2.5 or whatever servings in one of those pouches. And me personally,
well, they're actually the individual cups.
Perfect.
So it's not a pouch. It's actually a little cup that's
single
the serving. Yeah, single serving size. Yeah.
Awesome.
Go, Nick.
I know. Nikki's getting down. I wonder. Oh, we got a soundtrack to our situation. I like it. What's up, Natika? I feel like you got something to say. Where'd she go? Oh,
nothing. Carbs. I love carbs.
Oh my gosh, so do I.
Natika says she wants to try a spaghetti squash.
No, I do not. Not if, look, I'm cooking jicama right now. I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's a carb, a fruit, or a vegetable.
Oh my gosh.
I cut my hand, had to get 2 stitches, all in an effort to introduce my family to some damn jicama.
Oh, girl.
So it's in the right now. It better taste like something.
Come on, jicama, come through.
Lime is the key to jicama. You have to have lime.
Y'all ain't telling me that in our private group.
Yeah, girl, I hate to say it, but jicama is not going to taste like much. You gotta season it. I trust you in your ability to season that.
I think it's like a margarita. It needs salt and lime.
There you go.
So this jicama about to be disrespectful. It started out disrespectful, and it's gonna end up in the trash.
Oh,
No,
it's so good.
you can do it. You can do it. Little lime juice, little salt. Little, that.
Sometimes my mom puts on a little cayenne pepper. With the lime. Oh yeah.
So yeah, jicama is starchy. I mean, it's a carb.
It's a root vegetable.
Yeah.
It seems like a slightly vegetable-ier potato.
Yeah.
But I'm curious how you're cooking. I've never had a cooked jicama. God, the amount of time we've been talking about jicama.
Wait, okay. So in my Marco Polo group, you guys, jicama has been the topic for a while. So if anybody has a jicama, not for a while, but there's been questions because after the vegetable call, everybody was like, okay, I'm feeling like I want to branch out. Everybody did a really good job kind of looking at what kind of veggies they were eating, trying something new, and no good deed goes unpunished. Oh, those look like jicama fries. That looks good. Ooh, I'm crossing my fingers. These jicama fries taste good because
they're going in the trash.
Yes, they're getting binned. So carbs. Oh, we were I was going to talk about is the low carb situation, right? The low carb, Atkins and now keto, South Beach, all of the low carb stuff. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. I personally did the South Beach diet and was wildly successful. I lost 30 pounds on the South Beach diet. I also gained about 24 of them back, and then eventually everything back. And I remember when I first started, the first 2 weeks, you can't have any carbs. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to just crush this and I'm going to do this for a month. So I didn't have any carbs for the first month, right? And I remembered feeling so craptastic at the beginning, like just no energy. And they talk about that with keto a lot. They call it the keto flu, right? And once again, I have no opinion on any way that people choose to eat. I am not pro or anti low carb diets. I think everything has its place, its indication. I was just interested that I felt so crappy not eating carbs. And so then, looking at it, I was pretty active and not eating carbs. And so, how many carbs do you want besides like portion size? I think really depends on your lifestyle. And I think, if you're someone that works out a whole lot, it's just like.
Did you hit her? Okay.
Oh, I hope you didn't hit her, Charlotte.
Okay.
So I think it depends, just like everything else, on where you are and what your lifestyle is, as far as how many carbs you need, just like how much food you need. If you're working out a lot, if you're super active and you're hungry all the time and your energy is low and you're not sleeping good, eat a little more food. Eat a few more carbs, if you're eating super quality food, you have a lot more leeway if you're eating whole food, so yeah, I think it depends. If you guys have a question about, are you eating enough carbs, or am I eating too many carbs, or too much, too little food, whatever, number one, come to the Fitme event, because dun, 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 we're doing the metabolism audit, and we are going to go through a deep dive. Me and Christy are personally doing this, a deep dive for each and every one of you. There will be something coming out in your email, questions for you to fill out so that we can dig into that. If you are not able to attend the event, reach out to your coach and have a conversation with them about your personal situation, your activity level, how you're feeling, your hunger, what your plates are looking like. What the hell do I do with carbs? Like any ideas, talk about it in your face or your Marco Polo groups as well. For sure. Does anybody have a favorite go-to carb that you do with your meal prep, or that you rely on heavily in your rotation?
Hey, Mo.
Potatoes.
Two people talking. I think Kristen, go ahead and tell me, and then I don't know who else was talking, so hold on one second. We'll come right back to you.
I was just going to say rice is probably my biggest go-to.
Yeah.
Rice and roasted potatoes.
Oh yeah, definitely roasted potatoes are good. Those are two go-tos for me too. Do you do anything different with them?
I wouldn't say so. I use tonight I did Basmati rice.
Mm-hmm.
And I just cooked it in the microwave, and instead of like they recommend putting butter or margarine, I actually used coconut oil.
Ah, that gives it a different taste.
Yeah. And then I just put a bunch of Himalayan salt on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you know what? This afternoon, I had some frozen vegetable stock scraps.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made my own vegetable stock.
Mm-hmm.
And I used, instead of just plain water, I used the proportions of water that I needed in vegetable stock.
That's so solid. That's something we do a lot. We usually use some kind of stock, beef, chicken, possibly veggie. Definitely. It gives it a super bump in flavor.
Yeah.
We use
it smelled so good when I was cooking the stock. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to use that. And then I made myself some egg drop soup with the remaining vegetable stock.
Nice.
And I put
you
some
go.
green onions in it.
There you go. That's efficient.
Yep.
We add turmeric to our rice a lot when we're cooking it. It makes it, you know, bright yellow, gives it a little. I don't feel like turmeric has a super strong flavor. I guess I don't notice it much, but you know, it tastes good to me. Makes it colorful. I'm all about the colors. When in doubt, add colors to your plate.
Yeah, and it's good for anti-inflammatory.
Sure is. Yep.
I love fruit as my carb. When I get tired of potatoes and rice, I love fruit.
Okay. Yep. Yep. And you know, once again, fruit is a solid carb. That is definitely a solid carb, especially paired, you know, just like all the other carbs. If it's not naked, it's like solid, you know, like when in doubt, the apple and the peanut butter, and well, if you can do peanut butter, do other nut butters, is super solid and more satisfying. You always know if you're doing it right, if you're satisfied, you know, if you're like having a snack and you feel good after and you're like, okay, I'm done snacking, then you know you just snacked right. It's when you're still craving, you know, a lot of times, if you look at what you just did snack wise, it's either, wow, I needed a whole meal, or, you know, I didn't do that as balanced as I could have.
My carb food prep is that I bake sweet potatoes. Also, those veggies are roasting, and I'm excited for them.
Very exciting.
But I bake sweet potatoes, and then I just put them in the fridge. And when they're cold, the skin falls right off, and then I slice them into slices, and I freeze them flat. And then I just throw them in a Ziploc bag once they're frozen and keep them frozen. And so every morning with my breakfast, I throw a couple in the saute pan before I make my kale and eggs, and kale and sweet potatoes and eggs, and they cook up super fast and they get all like brown and delicious because they're already cooked and frozen.
I love that hack. That's awesome. Sweet potatoes are super, super amazing. Well, superfood. I know I just said super 40 times, but they're a superfood. So they're just pretty much amazing for you if your body is tolerating them. So that's carbs, guys. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. If, like I said, you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or your coaches or your buddies, and let's talk further about it. I think, yeah, there's been a lot of opinions about carbs, but I think when it comes down to it, they can be done really well, and your body can be really, really happy with them. And I am a big fan of the carb. So thanks for joining us this evening. Me, myself, and I, that is. Good to see you all. And if once again, events are still happening, slight changes. We can't wait to see you guys there. And hopefully this means more people can actually join us. That would be super rad. Maybe people that weren't able to travel as far, or you know, something. Can't wait to see you guys.
Hey, Molly.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I missed the first couple minutes of your introduction announcements.
Okay. So how about you and I talk after?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll give you a buzz.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, everybody.
I'd be on this call too, because I missed it too. Me and Kristen were late because we were talking to each other.
Okay, how about you and Kristen just stay a couple minutes and I'll holla at you. Ooh, look at that seasoning of Nikki's sharing. Tagine, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh my gosh. You're muted, Nikki. Tell me more.
It's tahine. It's like a Mexican spice. It's
All right.
really good on jicama. With some lime, it's like the best.
Good to know. Thank you. I'm going to share that with Natika before she gets all disrespected by her jicama. All right, ladies, take it easy. And Kristen and Jen, I will stay a couple minutes and let you guys know what we were talking about.